Friends, it's C-Man, and we're back with a reaction video to Mr. ThomasDeLauer. I'm pretty sure you know who he is. So we're going to react to ThomasDeLauer, the fitness influencer, gym lifting slave himself, ThomasDeLauer. So he says, this crazy protein strategy melts belly fat fast. Then anything I've seen, yeah, you want to know what it's. I've never seen this video before because it just popped up now. You want to know what it is? It's called positive nitrogen balance. Ever heard of it, dude? Yeah.
This protein trick works for dropping belly fat, and I know because I've tried it, and because the science seriously backs it up. All these years that we've been trying to lose fat, but we've been dieting, or we've been exercising, or we've been counting calories.
And what did I say in my last videos? I've been telling you guys. Oh, you don't have to do any of that. Cardio, none of that. No exercise, no cardio, nothing. Just eat your natural, raw, animal, carnivore diet. See?
Quite frankly, we have been lied to, or at least lied to by omission, because this evidence came out a while ago, and it's so strong. And it's not just that protein is satiating. Sure, we know that protein helps curb your appetite, but what if there was an actual...
It does. It curbs your appetite. But here's the thing. Well, anyways, let's see what else he has
to say. Fixed number that you had to get to, that when you hit that number, your appetite shuts off and fat-burning systems turn on. I'm not making this stuff up. In today's video, we'll cover a few things. First, we will cover the interesting study that discovered this and why maybe it didn't surface to a lot of people. Then we'll cover how to time your...
Because people are on slave food peasant diets. That's why they're not eating their natural diets. They're stupid. Get it?
Protein, exactly how much protein, and then we'll also talk a little bit about the mechanisms behind it so you know how it works. Then we'll talk about how to get more out of this protein trick. How can you squeak more out of it for more fat loss and less frustration? Then we'll talk about the workout wrench, what gets thrown into the mix if workouts are in the equation, because if you don't do that...
I've never lost any kind of fat off my body exercising. That year when I started eating... When I started, the summer before last, when I was at the Mandarin, the buffet, I just kept eating a lot of beef. The problem was I was over-consuming beef because it was cooked. It was cooked, so it was processed. It was cooked, so I was over-consuming on it because I could never reach that level of satiety, that nitrogen balance, where your body stops you from eating any more protein. That's why I started eating more raw. So when I discovered that they actually had raw fish, since you need more fat in your diet, fatty fish, right? Omega fats, amino acids, fatty acids, get it? Fatty acids, amino acids, whatever. You need all that stuff. So when I started eating raw first, I noticed I would eat less now. So I just go and do 3 plates. So it'd be like raw sushi plate, a lot of it. And then, you know, I'd eat the shrimp. And then by the time I got to the beef, it was very difficult to down the beef because it was already high in nutrients when I started out in the beginning. So, but the summer before last, fuck it, man. I don't think I was eating like 5 plates of steak, bro. I was just eating so much, over consuming. It was ridiculous because I could never reach that level of satiety. See what I mean? You have to reach that level where your body says, okay, we're tanked, no more, and you won't be able to eat any more protein.
Is right when you work out, it literally can backfire and make you actually gain fat. And I'm not exaggerating or just saying that for the YouTube algorithm.
First, we offer overnight boarding.
And finally, we'll cover a couple other things that you can eat where your body has systems in place to recognize that you're getting enough as well. Number one, the study that just hasn't come to surface a whole lot. Interesting. I don't know. Anyway, they found that animals would continue to eat unless they got a certain amount of protein in. When animals were not getting a lot of protein in, they found they would just overeat carbs and fats. And this kind of clicked scientists into, well, maybe we should look at this in humans.
Yeah, because you need to be in what they call positive nitrogen balance. But everybody on the planet is omnivores. Get it? Omnivores, they call themselves. And guess what? Like Jason Blaha, they said, oh, you have to eat 80% carbohydrates and 10% or 20% protein. Yeah, oh yeah, that's what you think, eh? And so you overconsume on these artificial fake diets, and then guess what you get? Fat and disease. That's it. and you still never reach that satiety. That's why when you wake up for breakfast, you're like, I'm starved. And then you're like, is it lunchtime yet? It's only been 2 hours since breakfast. I'm starved. And then especially when you got to go get dinner, right? You're like, oh my God, I'm starved. But you've been eating snacks in between. And then more snacks, and then, oh, dinner. Oh, is there supper too before I go to sleep at night? Because I'm starving. Get it? You're all starving because you've never been in nitrogen balance. Get it? Positive nitrogen balance. You're all negative. That's why you're starving. And you're trying to reach it, but you're doing it in the wrong way by eating slave food diets because they're not protein.
And they did. And it turns out it's a very similar thing. They found that essentially, if protein intake fell below a certain exact threshold, a certain number, appetite mechanisms would kick in and force that animal or human to eat until they reached that amount of protein.
That's right. Till you reach that amount of protein. Are you reaching it eating the slave food peasant diet? No. So it's on all the time. That's why you're all aging like the mommy. Get it?
For example, if you were just eating a bunch of rice and beans, you'd have to eat a lot of rice and beans until your brain senses we've hit this exact gram amount of protein.
Yeah, but guess what? You're eating rice and beans. They're not protein. Your body only accepts animal protein as protein. And you're not reaching it ever. That's why you're starving. And then you're over consuming on the slave food peasant diets. Get it?
Why have we not been told this? Why has the focus only been on calories in, calories out?
What do you mean? Why hasn't anybody told you that? Why would they tell you that? The whole plan is working to keep you weak. The government's and the elites plan to keep you weak and small. Everything's to keep you weak and to keep you dying. Make sure that you die off. Earlier, sooner than later. Get it?
Beats me, but this seems like a pretty important thing to overlook.
It beats you? It's pretty important? Not for them, it isn't. Duh. This guy's nuts.
The American Journal of Clinical...
High protein diet induces sustained reductions in appetite. Yeah. Lipido. That happens to, I know, because I eat one massive meal a day at the buffet. And I find that I don't need to eat until the following day. So if I go to the buffet at 12 and I finish at 3, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, I go back and I eat again. And then I stop at 3. I'm full and then I repeat. Get it? So when people say, oh, you need to be an autophagy. Well, I'm obviously an autophagy. Get it? But here's the thing. You have hydrochloric acid. So when you eat this protein, it breaks down into what? Amino acids rapidly. Why? Because you got acid in your stomach. 75% of meat products are water. 75% of that is water. Get it? And the rest is just some excrement. It breaks down the proteins, whatever. They turn into amino acids, whatever. So yeah, there's really nothing. There's nothing there. So yeah, how can it make you fat? That's why you lose weight on protein, because you're not over consuming on artificial fake diets. If you eat enough protein, that's the whole idea. But if you don't get sufficient of protein, you're gonna think that you're constantly starving, and you're gonna eat the slave food peasant diets because it's convenient. Get it? It's convenient because you're lazy.
Nutrition published a study where they had humans eat isocaloric diets, same amount of calories.
Yeah.
One group 30% protein, one group 15% protein.
Sure.
What they found is that the 15% group ended up eating 441 more calories. But the group that had the
but meat is not calories. It's nutrient based. It's not calories.
higher protein ended up eating less, even though they were presented with the same amount, and ultimately ended up...
See, they were presented with the same amount, but they ate more protein. Therefore, they ate less slave food diet. Why? Because your brain says, you know what? We've met the threshold, satiety. We're at positive nitrogen balance. But you guys are never in positive nitrogen balance because you're starving. You're malnourished. All of you, everybody in North America is malnourished, dude.
Losing about 30...
Pretty much the majority of the planet's malnourished if they're eating the slave food peasant diet with meat. And your meat is cooked, so it's never really exactly that amount of protein because you've cooked it, you processed it.
15 pounds more fat. What we're seeing
Yeah.
is that it's a specific target. You need to eat a certain amount of protein, which we'll talk about in a second. It's
Yeah.
not just about satiety.
Exactly. You need to eat a certain amount of protein. Just like in bodybuilding, if you're trying to build muscle, you need to eat a certain amount of protein to build muscle, to see that mass on that myofibrillar, like science says. What does it say? It talks about positive nitrogen balance, but you got to be above positive nitrogen balance. You got to outpace protein breakdown. Protein synthesis needs to outpace protein breakdown in order to see that mass on that myofibrillar, to see muscle growth. So you see, there's different objectives here. In bodybuilding, when you lift weights, there's a window for protein breakdown, but there's also a window for protein synthesis. But now you're breaking down proteins even faster because you worked out. So never mind them breaking down before, but they're breaking way down faster now than they would normally break down. So you need to consume a lot of protein, get it? Because you need to outpace that breakdown after that fucking workout. Get it, man? Hey, hello, McFly. Get it, dude? Yeah, man. So you understand? So in you not exercising, you eating slave food diets and cooking your meat and shit, you're never meeting that threshold. You're never meeting even positive nitrogen balance. Never mind equilibrium. Fuck, you guys are not even at equilibrium. Never mind all that stuff. You're not even there. That's why you're starving, constantly eating fucking 5-6 meals a day or some bullshit. Like these crazy bodybuilders. I gotta eat 5-6 meals a day. Why the fuck do you need to eat 5-6 meals a day? I can literally eat 1 meal a day and still make it.
Based on large human surveys, there is a narrow band of protein targets that need to be met. What that means is that across lots and lots of people, it's very, very similar.
And you want to know why that is? Because you have to meet that threshold of the essential amino acids, the 9 essential amino acids, which your body does not make, it does not manufacture. You need to consume a lot of it because your body doesn't make it. Get it, dude? From even the food that you eat.
How much protein needs to be met. Low protein consistently and reliably drives appetite and calories up until that protein target is met.
That's right.
Period. So how?
And why do you think fat people get fat? Because they consume slave food diets to try to meet that target. Because your body says, we're starving, get it? We're starving, we gotta eat. Why are you starving? Because you're never meeting that protein threshold. You're never even at equilibrium, fucking. You're starving. And then you're eating like fucking potatoes and weird shit, and your body's saying, listen, dude, we're starving. But it's not, you're not communicating with it. It's telling you it's starving for protein, not your fucking slave food peasant diets.
How do we time it, and how much do we actually eat? Well, we can get to that exact number, and then we'll expand on certain use cases and things you need to be wary of. So what they found is that just about invariably, it's about 0.6 to 0.7 grams per pound of body weight as the minimum target. Now, that's not your daily recommended allowance. I'm talking about...
That's just a number he's giving you. Your brain is going to tell you when you have enough protein. You can make up any number you want in the book. It means nothing. I literally can sit down and eat 750 grams of protein in one seating. Sometimes more, sometimes 800. I've eaten as much as 1,000 grams of protein in one seating.
The target until the hypothalamus says, we're good, we don't need to crank up appetite. So what this simply means for you as someone that's trying to eat enough protein, trying to drop fat, trying to control your appetite, is that you need to get that 0.6 grams of protein per pound of body weight as in the day as you possibly can. If you do that, your hypothalamus, your brain, will turn off some of the appetite signaling because it says they've met the protein target. And they've
Exactly. And so it'll stop you from eating any more protein. But it will not stop you from eating the slave food diet. Well, I mean, once you reach satiety, though, you won't reach for any more slave food diet because your brain says we got enough protein now.
at it early, so you will be in more control the rest of the day. Your hypothalamus recognizes an amino acid deficit, a protein deficit.
Yeah, but a lot of your food is processed because you're cooking it, so you're ingesting broken DNA, which is contributing to DNA damage in your body. Your DNA is absorbing that damaged DNA. Now, is your body in a position where it's regenerating faster than it's deteriorating? I don't think so. That's why everybody is in negative nitrogen balance. You're all starving. So you're all deteriorating the opposite, deteriorating faster than you're regenerating.
And it'll crank up appetite until it's met. Your liver will detect a protein deficit and will pump out something called FGF21, which is going to increase your appetite for protein even more. But you're thinking, I want an appetite for protein. It means I'll eat a burger or I'll eat chicken instead of Doritos. Well, that's the problem. Most modern people, like over 90% of them realistically, are not going to be sensitive to the satiety signals or the hunger signals in terms of the specifics of it. You're going to be told by your liver and your brain that you need to eat more protein, but your metabolism is going to interpret that as, I just need more food. I can't necessarily ascertain what it's telling you to eat more of. So you go and you eat more and you eat more and you're out of control and you eat more and you gain fat because you're trying to meet this protein goal that is a number you didn't know existed before. How do we get more?
Why didn't you know it didn't exist? Because you've been trained to eat slave food peasant diets, thinking that's the number we have to meet. And actually, you're all carnivores. That's how you know you're a carnivore. You understand me? You're not meeting it because you're a carnivore, but you think that you are an omnivore. Get it? But you're in fact a carnivore. That's why your brain is trying to meet that threshold. But you think, oh, I should eat my slave food peasant diet. But your brain is saying, and you just keep consuming and consuming, and then you keep spending more money, consuming slave food diets. In the end, you literally bankrupt yourself eating slave food diets when, in fact, all you need to do is eat protein. That's it. And you can get away with very little protein, spend very little money eating meat all day. Like you can eat it once a day and you've met that satiety. And so you're fine. But the slave food diet will continue on and on and on and on forever. Why? Because you're a carnivore. Your brain only wants protein. It wants nutrients, protein. It wants amino acids. It doesn't want your peasant slave food diet. Get it, dude? You're drug induced. You being on drugs all day eating plants. You're all on drugs, bro. Get off the fucking drugs and start eating your fucking natural fucking carnivore diet. Fuck off with the shit, bro.
Out of this. How can we squeak a little bit more with our protein to get more fat loss or realistically less potential gain? Well, first, get that big surge in the morning. That's going to be critical. And healthy fats first thing in the morning, because the fats are going to continue to help with that satiety via GLP-1 mechanism. With lunch, you want to have a more rapid absorbing protein so that you hit that protein target really fast at lunch so you don't overeat at lunch.
But why do you have to eat lunch? Why do you have to eat breakfast? Why don't you just eat one meal a day? You want to know why? Because you're starving. You're still not getting that threshold. This guy's dumb, man. You're still not meeting it because you can't stop eating the slave food peasant diets. Get it, dude? Yeah, man. This is bullshit.
Particularly if you're working a desk job or sedentary a lot. This will help you out tremendously. You want to have your carb allocation be toward dinner. If you can plan ahead with this, it'll allow you to hit those protein targets high so your appetite won't be high at dinner. It simply won't. So if you already allocated your carbs to the evening time, you likely won't overdo it. You'll be able to stick to your plan and not spike your glucose very, very high, and you'll be able to maintain that level of insulin sensitivity that you're after. Another hot tip is apple cider vinegar, because apple cider vinegar converts into acetate in the body. Acetate actually gets into the mitochondria for fuel. So acetate will curb your appetite and it will override some of this mechanism because acetate can actually fuel the mitochondria in the brain. Another quick trick is sodium, using like a salty electrolyte. I use Element electrolytes. I've linked out to them down below because salt can help override some of the neurons in the brain and also supersede a little bit of this thing so that you get an appetite suppressive effect because your body also works with sodium in a similar way it does with protein. If you're not getting enough
Sodium's bad for you. Salt is bad for you.
sodium, it will ramp up appetite until you do. So those element electrolytes work really well for that. With 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 potassium.
I don't do electrolytes. This is fake. It doesn't exist in nature. I don't do electrolytes. I don't do any of these things. I just eat protein. I don't need any of this. Never did. You don't need that. Milk has electrolytes in it. Drink milk. Raw milk.
And 60 magnesium. The link down below gets you a free variety pack with any purchase with them. So this is a great way to curb your appetite, but also have something that tastes really good. So
don't eat any of these fake chemical things, man. Fuck that. It's garbage.
I drink them all the time. I sip on it pretty much every day, especially if I'm low carb or fasting. I sip on it all day, and it keeps my appetite at bay tremendously, especially they're ready to drink ones. The cans, the sparkling, those are super good. So if you want that free variety pack, the link down below, drinkelement.com/Thomas. Now there's a serious wrench that gets thrown in things. Okay, this is extremely important, and hopefully you're still on this video because this is very critical, extremely critical. Most people that are watching these videos are probably starting an exercise routine. Okay, exercise changes this. Not too much to the point where you need to be like, oh my gosh, Thomas is changing this on me, but more so, you need to know this. There was a study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition that found that workouts, particularly higher intensity cardio workouts, temporarily increase the protein target. So they make it so the protein target is temporarily shot up. What does that mean? It means after a workout, for a couple hours after your workout, the hypothalamus says, I need more protein as my target. So you're gonna be hungry and hungry and hungry until you hit that temporary increase in your protein target. That is seriously dangerous because a lot of people will do cardio to lose fat. But what happens? They end up overeating because their appetite is out of control and they don't even realize it. They're doing more and more and more exercise and cardio and HIIT, and next thing.
Yeah, that's true. You shouldn't be doing any of that. That's another problem.
You know, they have more belly fat. Have you seen that happen before? It happens all the dang time. And that's
It happens all the damn time because they're consuming slave food peasant diets and doing that shit.
Because this protein leverage hypothesis shows that the target changes after a workout. So what do you need to do? Within a couple hours of your workout, you
not within a couple hours, right away. You need to eat protein.
Need to get that protein intake higher, okay?
Listen to me, you don't do it after a couple hours later. You don't wait a couple hours later, man. You're gonna lose that window. You do it right away.
We need to get probably another 30 to 50 grams on top of where we should be after that workout, because that is going to turn off that additional appetite that comes from a workout. A hot tip, though, is you can use essential amino acids to override this a little bit because it seems to be largely leucine driven, which is an amino acid. So if we can take EAAs, we can actually override this during the workout portion. Not so much the standard integrated portion of our life. Like one could say, well, if I have EAAs in the morning, will this turn off the protein leverage system in my brain? Well, we don't have evidence to suggest that, but we do with the workouts. So post-workout, you could have EAAs, essential amino acids, and it could help bring that
everybody wants to look a bit better. You'll make more money.
Target down again. But what other foods operate in this same way? I got really frustrated when I learned all of this because I feel like in many ways we have been sort of lied to, maybe not directly, but almost lying by.
What do you mean lied to? Who lied to you? Your parents? Your parents lied to you, eh?
Omission, because there's this like general calories in, calories out theme that just takes over, and
there's no such thing as calories in, calories out. There's just protein in, protein out. That's all.
It's not wrong. Calories in, calories out is fine, but
no, it's not fine. It doesn't exist. Protein in, protein out.
These things matter. Really, really, really matter. Probably even more so. And what it is that our body is going to remain hungry until certain needs are met. Period. Point blank. End of story.
And guess what? That increases your metabolic rate. You eating the slave food diet all day, trying to meet that target, that protein target, guess what? You increasing your metabolic rate. Get it? And that's associated with aging, deteriorating faster than you're aging. And you can regenerate.
And we've seen this evidence with calcium too. So calcium works along the same way as protein does, except calcium is there.
Yeah, calcium is part of it. You get calcium, it's part of the diet. It's in meat. You find it in meat, so you'll meet all the requirements. What he's trying to say is you need to meet a threshold of these nutrients. Human cells want nutrients. That's all they want. So give it nutrients. Get it? And stop giving it the peasant slave food drug addict diet called carbohydrates and plants and shit, whatever else.
Because we need it for bones and metabolic health and electrical signaling. If you're not getting enough calcium, your body will remain hungry until you get enough calcium.
Exactly. But guess what? You're going to get enough because it's in meat. Get it? It's not deficient in any nutrients. That's why a lot of people drink milk too. They say, oh, calcium is milk. Yeah, well, it's there.
So what do we do here? Well, there's a nice trick. Dairy, whey protein, cottage cheese.
You don't need dairy or cottage cheese or any of that. You could eat that, but you don't need that. Calcium is found in meat. What are you talking about? It's in meat. It's not deficient in any nutrients.
Yogurt, good quality. Milk protein.
Whatever.
Sardines with the bone. Mackerel with the bone.
Yeah, sure, with the bone and the head and the brains and everything else and the guts.
High amounts of calcium and protein gets you that double whammy.
Sure.
You target the protein leverage target that you need with protein and with calcium in a double whammy, you get a tremendous appetite suppressing effect. This is extremely important and definitely a huge hack. If you wanted to even make eggs and break up some of the shell, sounds crazy, but it works, to get that calcium in the morning, you'll double whammy on that target. Also, consider a multivitamin.
Yeah, okay, that shell, you want to eat those broken shells, man, they'll cut you up. Maybe if you grind it into a powder, I don't know.
Early in the day. A lot of people take a multivitamin late in the day. What if, we don't have the evidence yet, but what if...
What do you think vitamin D tablets are made out of? They're made out of these shells.
Our body was just going to eat until all nutrient needs are met. What if you got a good quality multivitamin or ate some liver in the morning that got you...
Oops, I guess they're no longer vegan. They just found out it's made out of eggshells, their vitamin D. It's made out of animal products. Anyways, they promote animal abuse, vegan, so who cares?
Abundance of vitamins. Would it control your appetite and you'd be less a victim to munching on other foods? That's pretty wild. So to recap here, we definitely have been missing the boat here. Protein leverage is important. Good quality protein at 0.6 grams per pound early in the morning. Okay? As early in the morning as you can, maybe after your workout. If you do work out, you definitely need to increase that protein by about 30 to 50 grams within the couple hours after your workout. Apple cider vinegar as a nice hack to curb appetite. Salt as a trick to curb appetite. High quality, fast absorbing protein around lunchtime. Carb allocation in the evening time so that you don't overeat carbs early before your protein target is met. Calcium is key, and a multivitamin trick to curb your appetite. Now, I did another video talking about walking 10,000 steps, another easy way to really burn fat, and something that people don't talk about enough in terms of the mechanisms. So I put that video right here. Recommend you check that out so you learn some tips to get more out of your walking for fat loss. I'll see you tomorrow.
It's time for the pro to have one partner. For every...
That was it? See you tomorrow? What the fuck? I guess that's it with the video, man. I'll see you in the next one. Think about that, like, subscribe, support the channel. Man,
if you're starting a ketogenic diet...
Fuck. That was completely boring. What a video. He's not telling me anything I don't know already, so it doesn't really matter. Maybe it's good for people that didn't know that. Their slave food diets, they'll continue in that behavior. Maybe they'll finally stop and they'll wake up. See you in the next one. Ciao.